Hi friends, MD Vegan. Today I present you a new juice recipe. It's an amazing green and red juice, both together. And I use that juice like once a week, in the average, on my fasting day. I love fresh juices for fasting. I drink on a fasting day a lot of water, of course. That is very good to my well-being. I feel great when I drink a lot on a fasting day, because what I do basically on a fasting day is eating less. That's the definition, the medical definition. Less calories. The energy in food is measured in calories. Basically, that means how much energy you get from the food. Calorie is it's a certain energy measurement, and it's a unit and calorie, and it is with regard to the macronutrients. So all our food is made of 3 macronutrients. That is carbohydrates, that's the vast part, the large part, like potatoes or carbohydrates. Whatever is in sugar, in fruit is a lot of carbohydrates, sugar, fruit sugar. And so that is the one part. And the 2 smaller parts are fat and protein. It's in nuts and seeds, for example, just to give some examples. And these are different food categories too. But the macronutrients regard only the energy that is contained in these food. And that's how the world population is measured. I mean, what they eat, how much they eat, how much calories they eat. They say, for example, things like 2,000 calories a day is the average, or 1,500 or 3,000 an athlete or so. That's how they do that, in measuring the macronutrients. That's what all our food consists of. No matter what you eat, it always has these macronutrients: carbohydrates, fat, and protein. On a fasting day, what one does is one reduces the calories, less food. And so what I do basically, I don't eat, I just drink. To make it very simple, I don't eat anything. I try only to drink. But when I feel a little bit not so well, not so harmony, something's wrong, I could eat something on a fasting day. It doesn't really matter. It's not so strict. Just that's why we call it gentle juice fasting. This fasting day, I call it gentle juice fasting, because it is with compassion to myself. I don't want to push myself, because when I feel great, I do not push myself. Then my body can heal from inside. It's very important. The yogis say if the energy flows without any impediment, just balanced energy flows all over the body, then the body begins to heal itself. And it's the nature of the body to heal itself. It's a wonderful tool we have, a vehicle to go through life. The yogis say riding over the ocean of life, the vessel for life, for the journey of life. That's a metaphorical way to speak about it, but it has some wisdom in it, some good knowledge, that the balanced state of the mind, the balanced feeling, the well-being. That is an ancient concept all over the world. All cultures have that. And basically it means be compassionate with yourself. Don't go into extreme, just do it moderately. And that's the best recipe for success. It's very simple. And the fasting days, I reduce my calories, I eat less, I drink a lot. Of course, I have to, when the body cleanses. Fasting is also cleansing from inside. The mind gets calmer, the body cleanses out. I drink a lot to have all the toxins that might be in the body that has to be cleansed. They can be washed out. When I drink too little, that's not a good feeling. Of course, the water is the most important element in the body. It consists of, 2/3 of the body is only water. So if you are a water people inside, and the water is so important for everything in the body. And so drinking is a lot important, and I drink a lot of water, of course, juices, fresh juices preferably, teas, coffees, veggie broth, all kinds of things I drink. but on a fasting day it has to be a lot, yeah, to make up for all the food that is missing. And when we do not eat food, for example, digestion is not needed. Yeah? And the juices I drink also don't need digestion, because I take away from the fruit and the veggies, and so I juice. I take away the fiber that the body does not really digest by itself. There are microorganisms in the intestines that do the job, and they also get some nutrients for the body out of the fiber. Yeah. But that's a very complicated story. Yeah. Baseline is, if you do not eat, and if you do not have the fiber from the food, yeah, you basically have no digestion. And on a fasting day, as an exception, not every day, but on an exception, when you do not eat on that day, to make a break, to let the digestion rest, to give the body time to heal, to tidy up, so the mind and everything. On that day, there is no digestion, and the juices I take in, the nutrients from the juices go directly into the bloodstream. And that's a fascinating thing, because on the fasting day, a lot of things happen in the body and in the mind. And the senses are very alert on that day, because all the energy that I usually use for digestion only, that energy, I can use that for my senses, to feel. And that's why I'm so happy to make a new juice every once in a while when I fast. It's once a week basically. Because the juice is a very easy way to get to know the ingredients. But that's cooking. What it is basically combining ingredients. And for that you have to understand, to feel, to know what the ingredients do to the body and how they play together. So on fasting day it's so cool, because my senses are more alert, my mind is clear, I have no other things going on here, and I can really experience the ingredients so much better. And today I make a green and red juice, I already said, I guess. It is a beet juice and a kale juice, basically. And I have parsley, so 2 greens and 1 powerful red vegetable. Here is a beet. I cut it into pieces to make it suitable for the juicer. These pieces, I just cut them in slices, and so I can put it in the juice. It's a large beet, medium large, and the other main ingredient here is parsley and kale. That's a bunch of parsley, and there are 2 or 3 stems of kale. And kale is kale is the most nutrient dense food we have. Nothing has as many nutrients and many different nutrients as kale. It's a miracle. It's really powerful, and it refreshes my body on a fasting day. And the parsley is one of the very powerful cleanser. Parsley has a very specific effect. It cleanses the heavy metals out of the body. So all greens do that, but the parsley is a very powerful one here. It's known for that. And it has a sour green flavor. I would call it sour green flavor. It is so typical. Nothing tastes like parsley. I would call it peppery, soury green. It's green sour flavor. I don't know. That's how the words come up when I think about parsley, and it tastes that sour green, little peppery maybe flavor. Very fascinating flavor, very strong flavor, very powerful cleanser. And the kale can be bitter, but it can also be sweet when you harvest it after the first frost in the end of the year. Usually kale is in Germany in the winter. It's a winter vegetable. They grows all year, and then when the first frost comes, they harvest it, and that's the time usually it is happening in Germany. And then it is even sweet, because it's loaded with nutrients even more. And when you harvest it early, it can also be a little bit bitter. But in general, greens are a little bit bitter. General characteristic of greens are that bitter flavor. And with these green juices, I always add some fruit to make it more delicious. I like a delicious juice. I want to have a delight there. I don't want to have a juice that I don't like the flavor of. So it has to be sweet, some sweet also, balancing the bitter flavors of the greens. And the beet is an earth flavor. That's a typical earth flavor. That means it is a dense flavor. It's very compressed into a very small space, all the flavors. And I don't know any other fruit, any other vegetable that it can create so many different flavors as a beet. It's really fascinating. You cannot just drink a beet juice by itself. I tried that, and some people like it even. They told me they like it. I don't. I don't know how you feel about it, but beet juices are really have to have something with it. A fruit, a sweet sour fruit, or a pear that makes this juice delicious and doesn't give me the scratching in the throat from the oxalates in the beet. It scratches in the throat and begins after half an hour after juicing. It begins getting stronger. It takes for 2 hours to go away. Nothing to be concerned about, but I don't like it. Scratching the throat, I don't like that. I want to have a smooth, delicious flavor, no side effects. For that I add usually a pear. That's the first I would recommend when you want to make a beet juice. Yeah, I would always recommend when you begin juicing other recipes, make it on your own. Begin with a very easy thing, just 3 ingredients or so. Very easy, so you understand what's going wrong and how you can tweak a little bit. Nothing difficult to begin with. And the beet here, I would recommend to begin with a little bit of pear. This is a lot pear, the 3 pears. These are delicious pears, really. They're right in season now, and amazing. You get the wonderful fruit when they're in season. But the pear is something that makes a beet juice delicious, right away. It's very simple. And the apple, I have another fruit to add. That's the same amount, also 3 small apples here. Not the same amount, 3 cups or so, if you measure it. That is rather for the kale and for the parsley. I have parsley juices with apple and kale juices with apple. But to be honest, the parsley also goes very nicely with the pear. Parsley pear is a perfect combination to me. Another story for another day. But in general, just saying, parsley pear is a classic combination, and apple and kale too. And parsley and beet is a classic. And you can also make an apple beet juice, but to begin, to me, I would rather say begin with the beet and pear. It's my recommendation, because the pear is an earth flavor and the beet has the softness of the earth element, this gentleness, the caring Mother Earth, this kind of thing, and the pear is round and soft and gentle. The apple is more strong and it is also for the digestion. The apple helps with digestion, firm matters from the intestines. You eliminate the firm substances the body doesn't need anymore. That's what the apple helps with. And the pear, having absolutely the same nutrients, macronutrients and vitamins and so. They're macronutrients. So basically the same calories as the pear has the apple, and pretty much the same nutrients, not the same of course, but pretty similar. And yet they have a different function. The pears help with the liquid elimination from the kidneys. Interesting, right? And the bladder and so. That's what the pear does. So they are very different in the function, but also very similar. And the firm matters, of course, are different than the liquid matters. Liquids are more soft and gentle. The firm is more hard, of course. So here too. And the hard flavor is more with the kale together for me, just feeling. And the apple is that for the kale, and the pear is that for the beet. So I have here parsley, beet, kale juice with apples and pears, and I like to add some lemon and ginger with many recipes. I have 1 lemon here without the peel at first, and then I have 2 or 3 inches of ginger root. Ginger is one of our most potent antioxidants. It is super high in these kind of nutrients that help the body to be resilient. And the ancient medicine of India, the Ayurveda, they attribute it to the fire element. The fire element helps with digestion. That's one of the most important elements for them because it really helps to get the nutrients in and to bring it around in the body. Fire, they cook everything, but it's another story. The fire element helps with digestion and absorption, and it makes the body resilient. So that is very strong. One of the most powerful root vegetables or plants we have at all. It's a very powerful spice, and it supports also the flavors of the others. The hot flavor of the ginger also helps to balance the bitter flavors of the kale and a little bit of the parsley. And the lemon is rather refreshing. It keeps the other ingredients fresh. It's a very strong antioxidant too, and it keeps the apples from getting brown, and so these kind of things, antioxidants. So I have 7 ingredients here. It's basically red and green juice. Red is beet, and green is parsley and kale, and then I have apples and pear to make it delicious, to balance these strong flavors. And then I have lemon and ginger to boost everything a little bit. Let's go. I will juice it now, and in a minute I come back, or in a second for you, I come back and taste it. Voila, my juice. The kale beet juice, the parsley kale beet juice, I would say. Maybe it's a beet juice because it has always this red color. These brilliants are dark red colors. When you put greens into red, it gets darker, can be more bright, can also a little bit be more broken. Broken means you have not the full bright, radiant color like the pure red, blue, or green, or yellow. You can also break it a little bit, adding some white, for example. The pastel tones, they're warmer, more gentle. And so the green can also break a little bit the red, the brilliant red. That's a nice warming, calming tone, I would say. Maybe the beet juice is an appropriate name because I could also call it kale juice or parsley kale juice with some beet. But it doesn't really matter in the end. It has a little bit a creamy texture, I already saw. It's especially when I put pear, I noticed pear into a juice. It gets a little bit creamier, especially when the pears are ripe and soft and sweet. I like that. And also the beet, when the beet is very fresh and crunchy, it's a runnier juice, as when you put a beet that is a little bit soft already, turns soft a little bit pretty soon. The beet is still great, but it makes a little bit different in the juice. It's a little bit runnier then, but it's not really thicker than, creamier than. It's not very creamy. I'll show you in a moment when I pour it into a little glass, show you what it looks like. You can have your own impression on what it's like, the texture at least, and the color. But most important, of course, is the flavor. I'll taste it now. Didn't taste it before, only when I added some of the lemon peel. I always wait until I have a first batch, and then I taste a little bit, and then I decide if I add some lemon peel or not. It's a very powerful flavor, lemon peel. It's the most healthiest thing in a lemon, is the yellow color of the peel. Very powerful. But it has also a very strong flavor. These oils that can evaporate, these kind of oils, they are in citrus fruit very lot. They are very powerful of flavor, and they can change a whole flavor. And if you put too much, it can ruin the whole flavor. So I've been careful with that. In the end, I added a half of the lemon peel about, and let's see what it tastes like now. I don't know yet. Let's see. Oh, I like it. Yeah, the senses are really enhanced, elevated a little bit on a fasting day, especially when you fast or fast for a longer time. I mean, for years, for example, every week, a day or so, over years. Yeah. Then the body really cleanses. the mind gets clarity, and the taste is also more intense. Yeah, you taste it better because of the cleansing. Like a tool gets refined. It's very fascinating. I mean, at the first time when first fasting, maybe it can be very hard, and I begin very slowly. Yeah, I would recommend eat something in between, maybe a light salad or a smoothie with fiber to slow the fasting down. But the cleansing process can be very challenging. So I would tune that, really moderate that, and not too much in the beginning. And over time, it gets easier. You can do a little bit more. Only juices, maybe no eating or no smoothies or so. But you know, the idea is getting slowly more and more into it. And once you're there, it's easier for me now. It's very easy to fast. I'm looking forward to it. I really have these flavors, and I can taste every single ingredient here. I couldn't do that before. With some practice, of course, I know the ingredients by now. I know to make a complex recipe with many ingredients, and I know to taste them in there, in the juice. I can taste the pear here, ever so slightly, because it's hidden among the apples and beets and kale. Is the very strong flavors, but it's still there. It makes it a little bit more gentle. And the lemon, I can taste the lemon. And the lemon peel makes it nice because all these ingredients, the pear exactly, and the apple and the beet, they have a lot of sugar. The beet has especially much sugar, high in sugar. But you don't taste it if you eat a beet by itself in a beet salad. You don't taste the sugar so much. But there's a lot of sugar, and you can release that sugar in a recipe for the flavor if you add sweet and sour fruit, like pears, for example, and lemons. Then all of a sudden the sugar comes out, and you put it all together, then this juice has a lot of sugar and it's very sweet. So that's why I guess I added the lemon peel, because lemon peel is the absolute opposite of a sweet flavor. It is so powerful and almost bitter, but it is more, it's different. It's hard, a hard flavor, these citrus flavors from these oils that can evaporate. They balance these sweet flavors and make it very nice. So it's a wonderful composition, I would say. I have all the ingredients balanced. Everything is in there. The sour green from the parsley, the kale is very intense, nutrient dense, powerful kale. Then the earth flavor of the beet is there, attenuated very nicely in there. And the lemon and the ginger, they really boosted a little bit. Yeah? And the peel really balances the sweetness, this high sweetness of this juice. I taste it already. I need to taste it again. It's very nice. I'm just happy to have made that juice, and really these green and red juices together. I mean, usually on a fasting they have always a green juice. That is to refresh the body, to give it full the nutrients. And the red juice is rather to give me endurance, power, to power me up, different things. But here they are together, the greens, the powerful greens, and the powerful beet juice, the red juices. And if you balance that out, if you get it right, you put them nicely together, it's such a mystical experience. This flavor is so fascinating because it's not easy to taste all the ingredients. They play together so nicely. You can so much enjoy it. If you don't overdo one ingredient, like too much lemon, too much, also ginger can be too much, or too much lemon peel, or maybe too much fruit, too much greens. When you really have it right, the balance is perfect at some point, and you really get the whole new oneness of that flavor. It's a new flavor. Yeah. A recipe should always have this oneness where things are playing nicely together in harmony. And then you have something new. Yeah? You have the ingredients, they are wonderful by themselves, and you put them together and make something new, create something new. Then you have really something that is not in the single ingredients, but only when they play together nicely. The fasting days are a great opportunity to create these juices. I'm so happy I learned how to make this gentle juice fasting, to do that. Yogini Kaliji, from the founder of Tree Yoga, she told us about it. but the gentle way of life, the compassionate way of life, the non-violent lifestyle. She brought all that really into mainstream yoga. Before 1980, most yogis in the West, they were not even vegan. Didn't talk about it, didn't think about it. She made it very, very, very prominent. She even inspired a guy that absolutely, I looked it up in Wikipedia, and so he wrote a book, a diet for a new America. That book really inspired the first vegan movement in the USA in 1987 or so. By 1991, it was a full-on. So many people had turned vegan, and it was greatly inspired by that book. Or was there other things also happening in America at the same time? But that book really had a big part of it, and she inspired that book. He came to her, John Robbins, and she told him about veganism, and his daddy was a big industrial with ice cream, and he turned away from it and wanted to be vegan because of Yogini Kaliji, and then he had to leave his father. He didn't like that, the big money guy, and he did it anyway and became famous. He became famous and rich himself with this vegan book, Diet from New America, and then inspired the vegan movement, the first vegan movement in America. In 1987 it began, and it's amazing that she inspired that too. So she brought veganism also to this planet prominently. I mean, veganism is here since 1940 something 7 or so, 6, when the Vegan Society in England famously was founded, and Watson with his friends and wife and others coined that word vegan. It came from Gandhi, by the way. He was there, and then he died, and the Vegan Society was founded after him. It was his inspiration, and then they coined that word, and that one, when it came into the planet officially by the name, but it never really took off. The Vegan Society in London published something, a paper or an article in 2014, I guess it was, of the 70th anniversary of the Vegan Society, and they said it never took off. Veganism never took off. They compared it because they know how much money they got from the donors or from the members, and so a little membership fee, and so they knew exactly what happened in vegan. Nothing, nobody cared about it. But all of a sudden, 2014, everybody talked about veganism. It was in the internet everywhere. The searching was up, and hotels and restaurants offered vegan food, and it was all over now. The second vegan movement began globally in 2014, according to the Vegan Society. So veganism was there before, but the first inspiration after that foundation came from Yogini Kaliji, actually. Yeah, who would have thought, right? Nobody knows that. So I'm very proud to explain that, to tell that, to share that. I like it. And then 2014 became global. That was then a new thing. I guess it came because of science, medical science, came up with the first big study on the advantages of plant-based food for, I guess it was cancer or diabetes. I don't know what it was. But the first big Harvard study came out, and then of course, boom! Everybody heard about it, and then it took off. So I guess medical science was a big part of the global movement. But yeah, our Yogini Kaliji was the one who inspired that in the first movement in America. Yeah, and all this makes me very happy to share now. And to me, it is something else. It is not just for health and the animals and the planet. That's the main reasons. But to me, it's the endless vegan variety I have as a chef. All the options, all the different plants I can eat, I drink. I never thought about that before, really. I always was a chef my life, always, almost, from very little, at home and friends and so. Always had the same recipes, 10 recipes or so. Since I've gone vegan and make my YouTube channel, I make a new recipe every single day to enjoy this endless vegan variety. Isn't that nice? Yeah, it's such a great thing to just think it fully positive, what it allows me to do. Yeah. I like that too, that perspective. It's not so important, of course. More important is the animals, the most important that we finally stop putting too much harm to them, and so we should not do that anymore. We don't need it. Is the vegan? There's no healthier diet than a vegan diet. There's nothing there, and you should make that change finally. It's about time. Yeah. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed a little discourse here, and mainly the juice, of course. And maybe you can find something for yourself in it. Beat the fasting, beat the juicing, beat kind of endless vegan varieties, my big thing, or a history about the vegan movement, also very interesting. We can have also chat about it. You can comment on my YouTube channel or Facebook, internet. There are many ways to reach out. Basically, you like my video, that's to start. Subscribe MD Vegan on YouTube. You get a new recipe every single day, and find me on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Twitter. Many ways to exchange yourselves. See you soon. One more thing. If you want to do more about gentle juice fasting or tree yoga moon fasting, there's a Facebook page called Facebook Tree Yoga Moon Fasting. Tree yoga is the style that was founded by Yogini Kaliji. I mentioned her before. I post all my juice recipes there. I made that page together with a friend. She's no longer there, but I post a recipe every week, a new juice recipe or plant milks. There's a moon calendar for the best fasting days, and so much. Yeah, you can also join that.